US Racing. We're in the game.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Drivers, start your printers.
To keep pace with the ever-changing landscape of marketing and advertising, let Clark Print Shop help you spot the trends and keep you in front of the pack with all your color printing needs. From business cards to invitations, menus to mugs, we can print anything you need on paper or your choice of over 3,000 promotional items. Visit www.clarkprintshop.com to browse our online catalog and place your order today, or call us at 276-889-3426. For a limited time, use the code iRacing for 23% off your first purchase. The staff at Clark Print Shop looks forward to handling all your color printing needs.
Walking and Rolling Costumes started when my son Reese was born with cancer.
So when I was 3 years old, I got my first wheelchair.
And he wanted to be Wall-E for Halloween that year. And so I knew you couldn't buy a costume to go on a wheelchair at that time. So I knew I had to build one.
My dad ended up building a Wall-E costume out of a Dell computer box.
When we were all finished, he loved it. We took pictures of it and shared it on social media. So many people started sharing it that we started getting requests from people we didn't know.
In 2015, we decided to build them for other kids because people were asking, hey, can you build them for my kid?
So we started the nonprofit organization, Walking and Rolling Costumes, and we build costumes for kids all over the nation, free of charge to the families.
Welcome in, everybody, for Saturday Night Racing League. I'm your host, Bradley Cooper.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Again, well, thank you all for being here.
32 cars, green flag at Daytona. And it is a cluster back here for the 15th position. Haley Turner lead him down.
Turner, Stravado, Jeff Wright. We see some lockup, big lockup. Rewind for seconds. Sturgeon clears all of them.
Comes down a little bit here in the entry of one.
Porter might just try to run him out of room here. Oh, he put him in the wall. They're going to crash. They both crash. Ray Massey's going to win it. Are you kidding me?
Saturday Night Racing League is ready to bring flag-to-flag coverage live here on VSPEED. 2.5 mile, 31 degrees of banking, opened back February 1959. Coming by the lead lap number 1, Jeff Wright by about 0.02 of a second. Gets that lap led. Across the line, Bailey Turner with 2 tires is going to get the victory. He steals away.
Michael Sturgill is going to steal the win at Kentucky in unbelievable fashion.
All right. Gentlemen, start your
Crossed on the bottles, looking for his first career win on Saturday night. Pushed by Ryan Carlisle. Bailey Turner on the top. At a turn number 4 they come. That's fun. Turner's getting the push. There goes Cabin for the win. He gets blocked below the line. There's contact, but Bailey Turner will cross the line first.
Live from Michigan International, it is the Saturday Night Racing League presented by M&J Distributors.
Where does Reggie Ortega go? He doesn't dare 4 wide, does he? They're making contact. 24-48. Split 3x3 in the turn number 1. There's 5 laps to go.
Jeff Wright's going to benefit from this if he can keep it off the wall.
He went to the middle again. There's no room for it again. That's going to hurt Jeff Wright. Push him up the track. Jeff Wright fades back.
It's over. Jack Klinger's going to claim chase race number 1 from Michigan. Live here tonight on VSPEED. It's the Monster Mile here in Delaware.
Ball hard, no less. This dry mind, no test. This whip glide like
No, it's a Klinger. Bailey Turner's crack. The 24 is destroyed in turn 3. Carlisle and Stravato came together.
And Adam Cabin is checked out. It looks like it's all over. The 17 on this new update finds another way to victory lane. The 17 of Adam Cabin is your winner at Dover.
Oh,
happy act got nailed. And he's still side by side somehow with Bailey Turner. It worked out for him. But Josh Adams trying to do it here at Iowa. This would be his 2nd win of the season. Klinger and Turner side by side for a second. It's going to be a battle to the line, but it's Josh Adams taking the win at Iowa.
Here we go, live from Homestead. It's Saturday Night Racing League presented by M&J Distributors, Season 4 finale. They're going to go 3 wide for the top spot. Adams dives it to the inside in 3 and 4. Klinger on the high line. Hero's just trying to hold on to it. Off of turn 4, the final time. Ryan Carlisle is going to find his way to victory lane. Bailey Turner holds on to become the 4th champion of the Saturday Night Racing League.
JS Racing. We're in the game.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Drivers, start your printers.
To keep pace with the ever-changing landscape of marketing and advertising, let Clark Print Shop help you spot the trends and keep you in front of the pack with all your color printing needs. From business cards to invitations, menus to mugs, we can print anything you need on paper or your choice of over 3,000 promotional items. Visit www.clarkprintshop.com to browse our online catalog and place your order today, or call us at 276-889-3426. For a limited time, use the code iRacing for 23% off your first purchase. The staff at Clark Print Shop looks forward to handling all your color printing needs.
Walking and Rolling Costumes started when my son Reese was born with cancer.
So when I was 3 years old, I got my first wheelchair.
And he wanted to be Wall-E for Halloween that year. And so I knew you couldn't buy a costume to go on a wheelchair at that time, so I knew I had to build one.
My dad ended up building a Wall-E costume out of a Dell computer box.
When we were all finished, he loved it. We took pictures of it and shared it on social media. So many people started sharing it that we started getting requests from people we didn't know.
In 2015, we decided to build them for other kids because people were asking, hey, can you build them for my kid?
So we started the nonprofit organization, Walking and Rolling Costumes, and we build costumes for kids all over the nation, free of charge to the families.
JS Racing. We're in the game.
Well, we're finally here. A little bit of a delay by a half an hour, but we are ready to go for week number 6. And it's the Tricky Trangle for the midway through the regular season. Live here tonight from POCONO, it's the Saturday Night Racing League presented by M&J Distributors. Welcome in, everybody. I'm your host, Bradley Cooper, alongside Connor Horn. And Connor, we've had a little bit of a rough start here tonight, but we're going to get through this. I know there's a lot going on with the 9th and Ferrata getting the win last weekend. And we were watching qualifying. It was around 5 1,000ths of a second separating for the top spot here tonight.
Yeah, it was a pretty interesting qualifying effort, and I think the admins were too busy arguing about whether Pocono was 3 turns or 6 turns, or however many you want to say. Some people say 5 turns, but that's not the debate. We're just debating what the race is going to be like tonight. I don't care about how many turns is what, although I still believe it's 3 turns. But point standings still show Bailey Turner at the top of the standings over Jeff Wright. That was probably not going to be the case, but Jeff Wright booted out of the way into turn 1 by Joseph McWhorter. Joshua Banks kind of returned the favor in turn 3. There's a lot of drama at the end of that race, and a lot of changes in that race as well. I mean, Jeff Wright dominated the first half, then McWhorter took the lead. 48 was kind of out of it. Then the final run of the race, then what was going to be the final run of the race, Seth Hatchell was going to go to victory lane. That race was over. He was pulling away from Banks, late yellow like we've seen in almost every race this season, shakes things up, and then the scuffle between the 48 and 73. Somehow the 07 and Nathan Ferrata comes up and wins that one. And interesting because he's still not even in the top 20 in points after that, but that win
gained 11 spots though. He gained 11 spots. He's 24th in points now. And Connor, you touched on that. It was the longest race of the season. We saw so much happen. It's too bad you don't get extra bonus points for winning something like that.
Yeah, I think in other series, maybe they double points for long races, but not the case. But still a big breakthrough win for him. I mean, he's ran well this season. Some of the races not gotten the finish he deserved. And last week, he was able to get the finish. Maybe a little better than what he deserved, and he was able to break through there. And who knows what will happen. We still have a long way to go. Once again, this is a stretch of races that's going to last end of November, so this is going to be very interesting for all these drivers to get into a groove, and this is a good track to do it. It's a pretty wide racetrack and a very fast racetrack. We're going to see 200 miles an hour tonight at this 2.5-mile triangle. If you want to debate how many turns there are, I mean, you can't debate the length of the track and the shape. It is a triangle, and all shaped differently. I don't remember the exact tracks that some of these turns are based off of, but I know one of them is Indianapolis, and I believe it's turn 2. And this is a fun racetrack. I love Pocono.
Yeah, it's modeled after 3 different racetracks, and I think that's definitively 3 corners on our graphic here tonight. Pocono Raceway, Long Pond, PA, 2.5 miles, as you said, and it's different banking. That's the other part. That's why they call it the Tricky Triangle. You have 3 different embankments. You have 3 different styles of corners, and it's very difficult to be perfect in all 3.
And just looking back on it and just getting my knowledge correctly, Trenton Speedway is the track that Turn 1 is based off of here at Pocono, which is unfortunately not around anymore. Turn 2 is Indianapolis, that wide, not really wide, but very sharp 90-degree corner, 8 degrees of banking there. And then Turn 3, Milwaukee Mile, 6 degrees of banking. At that corner, you might see drivers run up a little bit higher on the racetrack around there, just trying to get the run down Long Pond straightaway, or down the front straightaway, I should say, not Long Pond, because Long Pond's out of turn number 1, but still a really fun racetrack. A lot of history to this racetrack, and it is almost certainly, besides the super speedways, got to be the fastest track we'll see on the schedule this season. And 80-lap race, not a 3-hour race like we were seeing in the other session. 55 miles an hour on pit road. We have 5 extra sets available in the pits. We have the 6th on the cars to start the race, obviously, or 3 of green-white checkers. We've used a lot of green-white checkers this season, but haven't gotten through all 3 yet, knock on wood. And obviously a full fuel tank for the first time in Saturday Night Racing League's history this season. We had previously ran 80%.
Yeah, and the Challenger Series still stuck on that, but it's the iRacing fixed setup. It's actually a fixed setup that was created, and so it won't be officially the iRacing fixed setup. But of course, all these drivers don't know the difference. They're going to come out here and try to put it down. With that, though, it's time to take you trackside and get that grid up on the screen. And I'm taking a chance here. I don't know that it's going to be highly accurate with the qualifying times, but let's see what it pulls up here. Well, no times. That's fine. Okay, so we have James Lehman. He was 0.05 of a second faster than Ethan Ferrata. He will start on the top spot. James Lehman, the 05. I believe he got the pole at Charlotte as well, in the 05.
Yeah, he's always fast. Always fast in qualifying.
Second row with Joseph McWhorter and Nick Hapiak in the 06. And then you go back to row number 3 for Bailey Turner, your points leader, Dakota Floyd in the 57. Another thing we didn't touch on here, Connor, is Jeff Wright's not here. He's not able to make it tonight.
Yeah, then it's going to be pretty much no challenge for that points position and the lead for Bailey Turner. So Turner, remember, he's led the points pretty much all the way since Daytona season 4 back then. So Jeff Wright not able to close in. Chad Klinger's going to start 11th, Hunter Sr. 12th, Caleb Weekly, the Trevor Project, Monte Carlo 13th, Josh Adams 14th, Rob Hemp in the 15th position, Ray Massey 16th, Case Lakatis, who on my screen's in the 3 car, but on the ticker he'll be number 50 and 17th. Seth Hatchell, so close last week, will start 18th. Angel Horonis 19th, Brian Chandler's 20th.
21st position with Adam Cabot, and then you have Elliott Butler back here in 22nd position. 23rd goes to JR Shepard, Chuck Sweeting. We're still maintaining over a 30 car count for tonight. Pace car is going to pull off as we'll continue to run that grid at the bottom of your screen. Here we go for week number 6 of the Saturday Night Racing League, presented by M&J Distributors. A slight delay on getting it started. But here we go with James Lehman into turn 1.
Trouble. Hapiak got booted by Ferrata. Donnie Kite got booted by Hunter Sr. They're kind of stacking up in turn 3, and the caution's out for Kite spinning on the bottom. I thought there was going to be more cars. Somehow it wasn't.
And miraculously, none of those cars are damaged.
Caleb Weekly got some right front damage out of that, but that really all started in the tunnel turn because our leaders almost wrecked in the tunnel turn. Check up, Donnie Kite gets run over by teammate Hunter Sr., but that's because Nick Hapiak got the boot. That was not a good corner for Juicy Spider at all. There's about 3 or 4 of their cars involved in all that. Kite's just a casualty of the stack up. Hapiak battling for second, washes up. Ferrata gets into the back of him because of it. 0-2 back of 26, and then someone got into Senior as well, but so I think it was Caleb Weekly, but that was the extent of all that. I was expecting to pile up a bunch more cars. That all started with a big stack up on the exit of turn 2 because our race leaders about ran each other out of room.
Yeah, let's see if we can go on board with Ferrata here.
This is where it happens. Hapiak's going to wash up and dirty her right there, and he just can't react in time to stay off the 0-6.
Well, we knew that the anticipation of this race was going to kind of build up more of that intensity, and I don't know about you, Connor, but I'm just happy to be out here on the racetrack tonight. Saturday is always one of those days of the week that we look forward to on VSPEED. I think that this slight delay might mess with maybe the mentality of the drivers. When you get into a rhythm and you get used to the time that everything starts and you push it back a little bit, I think it kind of messed with these guys.
That happens in any series, though. When you have a set time for a race to start and then you get pushed back a little bit, it's the same thing as rain delays in real life racing. If you have to wait around, and then you're going racing later, I mean, you're all amped up. You get amped up for that set start time. Then you're waiting all this time. It just builds up even more. So when you finally get to the race that you're going to be running, everyone's racing crazy. We see it at the super speedways, especially all the time in NASCAR. When you're waiting around the race, usually you're going to be calm in the first part of the race if you get your normal start time. But when there's either weather in the area or you've had to wait out weather in the area, things can get crazy, and you see a lot more aggressive moves, a lot more reckless moves, and kind of saw a lot of that in turn 2 there. Ferrata and the 05 of James Lehman. I mean, they went side by side in a tunnel turn. That's really a no-no. You do not get away with that very often unless you're giving a lot of room. Ferrata tried to get that move to the inside, get the lead away from James Lehman, and they almost didn't make it out of the tunnel turn.
Yeah, you can ask Earnhardt Sr. and I believe it was Jeremy Mayfield that went side by side through that portion of the racetrack, and that's a flashback. Connor, how old are you going to make me feel now?
I definitely was. If it involves Dale Earnhardt, I wasn't alive for it, unfortunately.
Yep, thank you. Thank you.
Hey, you asked for it. The heavily replayed finish, though. I've
James,
seen the finish.
You've seen it. Yeah, you've seen it in the archives. It's definitely a memorable one. And watching the Mobile 112 come off at turn 3, it's one of those
Gave
flashbacks.
Dale his own move.
Yep.
And Dale was not happy about it.
Then we'll back up here. I think the lights, yes, going out on the pace car. Let's try to get this one off right. James Lehman, Bailey Turner, the front row. Not much change there. We had, of course, Juicy Spider, a lot of problems there at the start of the race. The 02, the 26, the 06. Gonna be a little bit deeper in this field here. Happy back to 10th. But outside of that, not much change in the top 10. We're going to pretty much start it off where we gridded here tonight.
It had some drivers top off with fuel. Guys like Caleb Weekly definitely came down to repair some damage, but really no one's going to be out of the race due to that incident. There are some drivers topping off. I don't think you can go much more than about 30 laps on a tank, so I don't think this will affect taking out a pit stop if you take fuel here, but a little interesting. Now you got Joseph McWhorter near the back of the field, among other drivers who are going to be back there, like Donnie Kite, like Weekly that we mentioned, Chuck Sweeting back there as well.
We're setting up here. You know, I got to say that qualifying-wise, 05's been on point. But recently, race-wise, I'm looking at Nathan Ferrata. I know I call him a Nathan and Nathan, whatever you want to call him here.
We both say it differently. So.
Yeah, it's one of those names that I probably struggle with. But I think that he has a lot of confidence after that win last week. He's had raw speed, raw talent. Can he harness that for this restart? Dakota Floyd on the inside, just behind the command car. Pace car out of the way. Let's try it again. I think we just turn it back up on the volume. Look at that elevator move in the background.
Oh, boy.
Who is that? Is that Adam Cabot?
That's Cabot going 4 wide on lap 6. He's going to back out of it, as is everyone else but Chad Klinger. Klinger's going to get all those spots.
Still 4 wide
They're still going to go 4 wide. I don't think they're ready to be 4 wide on the exit of the corner. Him and Carwell made contact. That is gutsy. What were you guys talking about when you get these breaks and you have to wait to go green? You get some crazy moves, and I don't think I've ever seen 4 wide that early at POCONO.
Lap 6 out of 80 into the tunnel. Turn Cabot back to 10th. Here comes Hapiak to the outside.
And Hapiak, he's still got some right rear damage. You can see it off the front bumper cam or front roof cam of Adam Cabot. He's got that right rear damage, struggling with it a little bit. Cabot is faster, just is able to get better center speed out of turn number 3 to get to his inside, but now you're stuck side by side, just going to slow each other down with the side draft, and there's not that much draft, not as strong since the latest update, but that side draft's still going to be there a little bit.
That was a factor that a lot of drivers talked about at Charlotte. Not able to really pull up to a driver. You're also not able to escape them. And I think, personally, it made for a better product, Connor.
I think, last week's race, it was a longer race. It definitely plays a factor, but I definitely think the racing last week was better than what we saw at Auto Club, better than what we saw at Las Vegas, and we'll see what happens here. POCONO can get strung out even if the draft is high. I can't imagine how crazy the entrances and the corners, especially on restarts, would have been with that high and unrealistic draft, but we should see this thing get spread out after a few laps, you would think, and we'll see who can climb through the field with limited help. Cabot could not get by Hapiak, and he lost that spot to Seth Hatchell. Even further back, you have Eddie Trejo back here
loose,
trying to figure out which lane to go in, and like you said, he did get loose. Now he's going to be split 3 wide. Butler on the top, Ben Laughter on the bottom.
Very loose out of that corner in turn 3. 3 wide into turn 1 on the outside with the 16 of Butler. Inside with the 64 of Laughter. Now Hunter Sr. is going to take a stab into turn 1. You can see single file all the way back to around this mid-pack. Look at the cluster of cars.
Yeah, like you said, it's pretty much gotten single filed out from the lead with Lehman all the way to J.R. Shepard in 14th, and then that battle for 15th is really our first side-by-side battle. It's McWhorter who came down to the top off, trying to get around Rob Hamp for that position. He's actually gaining positions pretty fast. He started really near the back of the field on this restart, and he's already into the top 15 again.
McWhorter might have had an EOL penalty for the beginning of this one. I'm not entirely sure what the penalties are, what they strategized for, post-race coverage. And, you had Jeff Wright and then you had Joshua Banks. You were covering that there in the pre-race, Connor. McWhorter, he needs everything right now. He's got to put the shoulders out and just kind of power through this. I think he's done with letting the car dictate his race, and he's absolutely not going to let the drivers dictate his outcome.
Not only did he get the shoulders out last week, he definitely got the elbows out. Like we said, mentioned it at turn number 1. We saw what happened with him in the 48. Then the 35 gave him that business right back, and ends up the 73 is the one with the EOL penalty to start this race. But hey, he's climbing back up through the field, and I don't think that's going to change the way he races. He's an aggressive driver, and he's fast. I think he's at his best when he's aggressive and kind of using his elbows up a little bit, as Rob Hamp's going to come to pit lane. That's a little early, maybe coming in to park it, but McWhorter's not going to change, and I think everyone else around him's got to realize that, and either you got to race him the same way, or you got to get out of his way, because I think he's fed up with just not getting these victories. He's been fast this season. He's been close, but not quite able to get it yet, as now Cabot and Seth Hatchell go into battle. Once again, this is still for the 10th position.
This looks familiar to a Tuesday night, does it not?
Just about. Once again, like another thing we were talking about pre-race, I mean, Seth Hatchell was so close to getting that victory, his second in this series, and his second in this car. His only other win was Season 1 in Kentucky in this Gen 4 car before the updates, and he had that race on lock. Didn't end up working for him after he took 4 tires. Other drivers took 2. Some drivers took none. But he was darn fast last week, and he looks like he's got some decent speed again.
On the wall in the background has been Laughter in the 64. Minimal damage, though. He's going to lose a little ground to Angelo Horonis in the 16th spot.
Horonis is a guy, he kind of, last week, hovered around the top 10 really all race. Never really threatened for the lead or even for the top 5, but he hung around, got a decent result out of all that, and not a great start to his day. Started back in 19th, has only gained 3 positions, but he's a guy, he's just going to hang around, and if anyone makes a mistake, he can pounce right on it. He's a very consistent driver. Really doesn't get into trouble of his own doing a lot at all.
And the same can be said about any number one of these drivers. It always seems like you have a handful of guys that are quiet. They're always great to race around. And you have guys that might not normally be in the top 10 get up there towards the end of these things. How many cautions, though, that we've had that have dictated the outcomes of these races? Dominant drivers throughout the season. You can say that about season 1 through 5. We've had a number of races where guys will go out, lead the most laps, and only to have it swiped away with 15 to go.
We've already seen that a decent bit this season. Nathan Fiorata, he only led 1 lap. Most laps led, that was Jeff Wright. Obviously, he led over half that race and was not able to get the victory. I'm not sure. And by the way, at Rockingham, a few weeks before, Joshua Banks also led only 1 lap. So we're on at least a 2-week streak of drivers leading only 1 lap, yet getting the victory. And by the way,
doesn't sound good for Layman.
Well, it doesn't sound good for Jeff Wright either, because at Rockingham, he also led the most laps and also did not get the victory. I'm just going to go back and just keep looking. Auto Club, however, he did lead the most laps and won the race. And same thing at Vegas, and Daytona's Daytona. But yes, Joshua Adams led the most laps at Daytona. But it's been a rocky slide for Jeff Wright lately. Still leading most laps, not getting the victories. Now not here. He'll drop in points, but he's always a threat. But it just shows how crazy the late stages of these races have been. You're never safe until you get that white flag.
Absolutely. Riding on board with last week's winner at Charlotte. Like you said, led 1 single lap coming off of turn 4. He didn't even lead a lap. He led like the last probably 1,000 feet of a 300-mile race.
Not even.
Insane.
And like you said, that confidence is going to help him out a lot. You can't really rip the wall like he was doing at Auto Club about a month or so back, but he's still got some decent speed right now. He is about a 10th faster last lap than Bailey Turner, and this lap even faster than the 24, and a 10th faster than race leader James Lehman. And you can see, we were talking about this, how strung out this track, the racing at this track can get. I mean, those top 4 are effectively gone. They got over a second on 5th place Dakota Floyd, but in the midfield, you still got some packed up racing. Ray Massey just got by Nick Hapiak for the 12th position. Hapiak's still nursing that damage on the right rear. Now here comes McWhorter to get another spot back.
Hapiak definitely with right rear damage. You can see on the outside with the 73 of McWhorter, the 98 of J.R. Shepard. As we ride around, caution is out. It's Ray Massey in the 23. Heavily damaged, destroyed out of turn 1.
What in the world? I just saw him, and he was in front of Hapiak, and all of a sudden he's in the wall.
Maybe a connection issue here. We're going to back this up. Yeah, connection issue. He disappeared. Reappears. Watch this. Car explodes.
I think we've seen this before. Doesn't he run in VR? I wonder if his VR went out or something. I think we've seen this from Ray Massey before, unfortunately. And I was literally just mentioning he got up to 12th, got by Hapiak, and then he goes away right there. Have to think it's some sort of electronic failure. And I think at that point he either had no control or he just turned it left to get out of the way. And that thing's junk.
I want to watch this one more time. Watch the animation of the car exploding on the racetrack.
It's very violent. You have the smoke from the inside wall, and then you have the particles going away. I saw that smoke near the inside live, and I didn't see what it was because there was no car.
He's going to reappear without a front end.
With a totaled 23 car. Poor Clark Print Shop Monte Carlo did not really get much of a chance tonight, as we're going to have pit stops here under caution because of that. I feel like everyone's probably going to take forward fuel.
Definitely take fuel. Now, if you're Chuck Sweeting, Max Cost, maybe debate on 2 tires. 15, 13 laps, that doesn't sound so bad.
Yeah, judging from what I was seeing as far as fuel, we should be about 2 or 3 laps away from halfway on the tank, maybe less than that. You could probably maybe get close to a 1-stop from here, so I definitely think everyone's taking a full tank here. Here comes the entire field. Could see 2 tires, saw a lot of that last week for track position.
James Lehman needs to be perfect. He's led every single lap so far, but you do not want to make a mistake hitting that pit box. He'll find it. 05 does. Wow.
I'm blaming that one on you.
I spoke it into existence. Happy-Ack in the background made a mistake as well.
Bode well for Bailey Turner. Keeps going. He's going to get out of pit lane first on 4 tires pretty easily.
Banks,
Banks,
Ferrata.
then Kibbe. Lehman went all the way back to 6th because of that mistake.
So the driver that was the leader just a moment ago, not the case in just a moment's time. But it's 2.5 miles to pace around this place. I know we had a long start to this one, but we're going to take another quick break. And when we come back, we'll have some more coverage of Saturday Night Racing League here on VSPEED.
JS Racing. We're in the game.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Drivers, start your printers.
To keep pace with the ever-changing landscape of marketing and advertising, let Clark Print Shop help you spot the trends and keep you in front of the pack with all your color printing needs. From business cards to invitations, menus to mugs, we can print anything you need on paper or your choice of over 3,000 promotional items. Visit www.clarkprintshop.com to browse our online catalog and place your order today, or call us at 276-889-3426. For a limited time, use the code iRacing for 23% off your first purchase. The staff at Clark Print Shop looks forward to handling all your color printing needs.
Walking and Rolling Costumes started when my son Reese was born with cancer.
So when I was 3 years old, I got my first wheelchair.
And he wanted to be Wall-E for Halloween that year. And so I knew you couldn't buy a costume to go on a wheelchair at that time. So I knew I had to build one.
My dad ended up building a Wall-E costume out of a Dell computer box.
When we were all finished, he loved it. We took pictures of it and shared it on social media. So many people started sharing it that we started getting requests from people we didn't know.
In 2015, we decided to build them for other kids because people were asking, hey, can you build them for my kid?
So we started the nonprofit organization, Walking and Rolling Costumes, and we build costumes for kids all over the nation, free of charge to the families.
JS Racing. We're in the game.
We were just about to come back, and now you can see a lot of damaged cars here on the racetrack. The 98 of J.R. Shepard is flapping in the wind. McWhorter got a piece of it. Dakota Floyd. Hronis damaged as well. Let's look back on an instant replay.
Shinovsky 31. Lakatos has got damage. Chuck Sweeting. Belky. Starts with the 8. Someone got into the 8 car and started that whole stack up into one. Kind of what we saw in the tunnel turn lap 1. And then it all set off from there. Also saw Lehman got a piece in front of the wreck. He got ahead of the wreck and then got damaged. Starts with Hatchell and right there. Carwell's going to give him a boot. Then Floyd in the Carwell. Then McWhorter in the Floyd. And that's what checks all that up. And then it's on from here. Hronis, Laughter, 31, 50's in it. 15 gets away with minimal damage. But that one little mistake by Carwell, he tried to pull to the inside to get behind Seth Hatchell, but Hatchell ends up braking a little bit earlier than what he's anticipating. 71 gets into the back of him and just starts a stack up, and his accordion gets all the way back to McWhorter, and McWhorter hits Floyd hard enough to just really set things off right there. Floyd almost goes over right there. 98, J.R. Shepard gets pretty much see his springs, his suspension setup, everything if he wants to. And then James Lehman, I think, was sideways from getting hit by Seth Hatchell, and that's why he ended up getting some damage.
It's going into turn 1 on board with McWhorter.
Yeah, contact with Hatchell starts about there. Then the 57 is going to get into the 71 right there, and then he hits the brakes. You can see him hit the brakes, and McWhorter, not much he could do there to check up in time. Take off the Belky out.
It's another opportunity, though, for some of these guys that maybe are outside the top 10 to top off with fuel. Nathan Ferrata, he's got a lot of confidence coming in from last week, but I think if he wins this one, this is a statement that he deserves to be here as a winner at Saturday Night Racing League. That's his second win ever.
Would be. I think if he's able to lead a bunch of laps tonight and not need a late race restart.
I believe we got the Challenger Series, so I guess second in Cup.
If he, if he go back to back, lead a bunch of laps tonight, and doesn't need a late race restart to steal one, if he could just win one straight up and 2 in a row at that, I think he could definitely kind of cement himself as a guy that can definitely maybe mix some things up once we get to the chase in a few months' time.
Pace car turns off those top lights. We'll double back up. It's 2.5 mile oval. Quarter of the way through this race. 3 cautions. 1 lead change.
Bigger than that one. And you got the parade of damaged cars coming through Long Pond straightaway. A lot of drivers. I mean, J.R. Shepard doesn't have a hood. Max Cost, his car looks clean actually, but 15, 29, 64, 3, 57. That's the one thing about repairing damage. If you have to do it at a track like Pocono, if you just barely beat the pace car out, you got a long way to go to get back to the rear of the field, and you might not even catch them by the time they go green. Matt Shinovsky's out of his car, which is unfortunate. He'll probably go a few laps down. He was 8th in points. Bird was 9th in points. Sweeting has damage. He was tied for 6th in points. Bryce Shoemaker 4th in points. I don't believe he's here tonight. Another driver that'll drop points not being here, like the 48 of Jeff Wright.
That's the other surreal part, though, is some of these guys have such success early in the season that they can afford to take a week off. And I want to say Jeff Wright's in Kansas City right now.
He's probably there for the race.
Yeah.
I would bet on it.
Sounds about right.
Should be a good one. It's on the schedule, but we got a 2.5 mile track that's having pretty good action right now.
Yes, we do. The Tricky Triangle with Joshua Banks, another driver that had a shot at Charlotte. Green flag back underway, and I don't know about you, but the 24 Billy Turner's being awfully quiet here. That's usually when he finds a way to victory lane.
He's going to have some work to do. Has not really shown that he's the fastest car yet. Ferrata, I think, was the best on the long run from what we were seeing, besides maybe the 05 before he got damaged. Now he's in the lead. Now he's got clean air, so we can really see if he's able to put a gap in between him and Joshua Banks, or maybe not, as we're about 3 wide for a top 5 spot in behind Bailey Turner. 09 at Klinger's going to slide up. Here goes McWhorter. He's going to make it 3 wide. Just going to get the better of all of that, but in the grand scheme of things, he loses a spot to Adam Cabot.
And a blinking issue here for Joseph McWhorter into turn 3. Here come the Juicy Spider drivers back on the offense.
A lot of them right there, stacked up. James going almost into the inside wall, trying to get away from all of that. So you can see how far down on the racetrack he went there. But like you said, he got 4 Juicy Spider cars, or about almost 4 of them all in a line. Kite, Happy-Act, Caleb Weekly, all right there. As that race for the lead is now the race for second between Kibbe and Banks. But we'll see at a turn 4 how far the 05 has to turn it down out of the corner here.
I'm sorry, did you just say there was 4 corners at this racetrack, Connor?
I think I might have, but it's still wrong. 2 used to ovals.
James Lehman's going to go 3 wide into turn 3. 21 of Eddie Trejo on the outside. He has the 16 of Elliott Butler next in line to try to make a pass. A lot of work to do.
Yeah, front of the field getting single file, 1st to 7th. That first battle's for 8th with Joshua McWhorter and Josh Adams. So they've had contact a little bit this season. A little further back is that battle between Kite Carwile, and then you can see from James Lehman's point of view, had that damage he needed to repair after leading the first almost 20 laps of this thing. Having that bad pit stop kind of put him in that position to be involved in something. Now he's going to have to fight back from it, as he's just about to crack back into the top 15 with this move on Elliott Butler.
Crossover move maybe here for Caleb Weekly, running in the 14th position. One of the few drivers that we've had consistent camera work with. So we're going to go ahead and ride on board with Caleb Weekly. Currently running in the 14th position.
And another driver who's had to have damage repaired from the first caution. They had to repair damage. But even with that, started 13th, running 14th. And if you just that way, it hasn't been that much of a day, but it's been anything but boring for Weekly, as Lehman's about to get that position around the outside down Long Pond straightaway. Good run for the 05, but Weekly just doing their thing, just riding around a little bit right now. There's still a long way to go in this thing.
Ooh, that was a close one there into the entrance of the tunnel turn, but Weekly holds on to it. Thought he was going to make contact with that 05. But it's a Nathan Ferrata. Nathan Ferrata. I've got 12 different names here. And
E-Nathan.
E-Nathan. Holding on to the lead. Lap 26.
Like that one more. We need a name pronunciation channel in Discord. We might have one, and I just haven't seen it. If I'm mispronouncing your name, doing a good job. Trying to keep him honest. And how many laps did Joshua Banks run second last week? It seemed like forever. It was either the 48 leading or the 73 or the 8 or eventually the 07. And Banks did not, to my knowledge, lead a lap last week. And he was second for a lot of that race, including in the final laps when Seth Hatchell was kind of pulling away from him. And kind of the same thing again. He's, like I said, long way to go as J.R. Shepard, way off pace, gives way to the leader. But once again, he's having to chase that leader down.
Chasing tails, I believe, is what he compared it to.
Whoa, McWhorter just had a big slide. He and Seth Hatchell have been going at it for that 7th position, and Hatchell is not giving it to him.
It's coming off of turn 3 for the 7th position. That's a 98. Turn 5.
You'd be surprised how many people. You'd be surprised how many people think there's 5 turns here, as J.R. Shepard kind of in the way. He's not too far away from this battle. Elliott Butler, Eddie Trejo going at it for that 16th position.
Now, the problem here, I saw a flicker again. McWhorter is messing with my connection here.
Yeah, he's having a lot of issues, 73 is. He's just going back and forth, but he's still in that 8th position behind Seth Hatchell as he's drifted out of turn number 3, but he's still all good for the time being as Hunter Senior, James Lehman, they're going side by side for position. Try to go to a battle where no one's blinking.
I just want to put everybody at home in the shoes of Josh Adams right now. Watching on board, we were coming out of turn 3 with the 73 blinking on repeat. Now, imagine that in a real scenario. You're behind the wheel of this car and somebody's having an issue like that. I know everyone has a different ISP, everybody has a different location, but how nerve-wracking is it, Connor, to be stuck behind something like that and see a guy blinking?
Well, it's not fun, especially when you know they're not going to get off the racetrack. I mean, you know McWhorter, unless he's ordered to by an admin, which is funny because he's passing an admin and Chad Klinger, who just knocked the wall down. So Klinger goes 6th to 8th, but it's really frustrating, especially when you're right behind that driver if they're not going to get off the racetrack. You just got to hope they don't get into you and hope they don't netcode you into the wall or something like that. I mean, it provides so many issues, and it's hard to focus on your own race, too, when they're doing that. I mean, you're trying to find your line, and almost all the time at a track like this, you're going to follow that driver in front of you to find the line into the corner. If someone's blinking like that, it throws you off your game completely. The only other place it could be worse to have that happen is at a super speedway where you're bumper to bumper. Thankfully, that's not the case, but it's definitely just frustrating for a driver like Hatchell if he's behind something like that and kind of losing focus and not putting consistent laps down because of something like that.
Yeah, it definitely messes with you. We were watching on board there with Chuck Sweeting. There was a tandem of cars working together. Let's see if it happens again here off of turn 3. Watch Chuck Sweeting. You had Max Kost, who just brushed the wall there off the exit of turn 3. That's Stephen Davis in the 19th position on the inside. When they came off of turn 3, I thought somebody was getting turned. They were bump drafting down this long front straightaway. It's the longest front stretch in NASCAR.
Yeah, it's 2 long straightaways. Front stretch is long enough. Then you get down Long Pond, and it is forever until you get to that 90-degree corner into the tunnel turn. You're going from about 195 down to about 150, and that's on not worn tires. And you got to get to the bottom in the tunnel turn. If you're not on that white line, borderline putting the left sides on that apron, you're going to be in trouble. And side by side through there, like we said, is a chore in itself. Ryan Chambliss and Eddie Trejo were able to just do it, but it was not fast. You go side by side through there, you're losing so much time to a driver in front of you.
Down to 137 miles per hour for Chuck Sweeting. Now down the front straightaway, he's got the draft. Let's see if he pulls to the outside. He will get to the outside of the 60 of Davis. 194 miles per hour.
This is really one of our 2 battles on the racetrack side by side. 60's able to get back in front of him. That's Stephen Davis in a 60, but big wiggle out of the corner. Got a little arrow loose. Sweeting's able to take advantage of that down the straightaway and should be able to make this pass into the tunnel turn. That is for the 20th position. Once again, Sweeting's one of those drivers who had to repair damage and go to the back of the field on this restart.
So it's Nathan Parada who still has the lead. He has 7, almost 8 tenths of a second. Joshua Banks picking up where he left off at Charlotte. I know he's probably thinking what could have been into 3 and 4. You send it into the inside of the corner. You get a little early to the throttle because you want to kind of push that guy out wide and make him have to lift sooner than he wants to. And then it was Ferrata that just out of nowhere, because those 2 drivers made a mistake.
Max was a tough spot. If he went to the middle, his option there was kind of just run McWhorter out of room. It just didn't work. they kind of got hooked together and ruined their momentum. That's what let the 0-7 get through to win. But if he goes to the bottom in the turn number 3 there, it's pretty. It's almost certain that Farad is going to get to his rear bumper, get the 35 arrow loose, and at that point, it's probably McWhorter that's going to get it with the checkered flag. And weird to think, and he was side by side with the lead in 3, but he was almost in a no-win situation there, unless he was just able to muscle hit McWhorter out of the way and then beat Farad out of the line. Just wasn't able to happen that way, and sure enough, that's the man he's chasing for the lead as we're about 7 laps away from halfway, and he's putting up decent times. He's pulled away from 3rd place Kenny Kibbe by a few tenths here, almost up to a second, but not able to close in any closer than this distance to Farada. It's been about 6 to 8 tenths of a second for a while as battle for 3rd seating up. Adam Cabot just about lifted the rear tires off of Bailey Turner's Chevy Monte Carlo.
So we can go back on the replay. This completed pass now for the 17.
No, not so fast.
Crossover?
It's always a battle of getting someone arrow loose in these cars. He tried to get him back, but couldn't quite make it work. See, right here in the tunnel turn, Cabot's just going to get all up to the rear bumper and pack so much air on the left rear of the 24. And that's classic Gen 4 racing 2003 and around that era. I mean, you got to get to someone's left rear. Don't hit him. You get close enough to him and get him arrow loose. And you see right here in the 3, Bailey Turner's able to do the exact same thing, get him loosened up off the bottom, but Turner just gassed it up a little bit too early to get that run down the front stretch.
Cabot able to escape just enough there. Here's a battle for 17th. Eddie Trejo and Max Koss. 21's going to go by on the inside, maybe.
Ooh. What are we saying about side-by-side and tunnel turn? It just does not end well often, but these drivers are doing it pretty often. It's a battle up ahead. It just ended, actually. 13th place just swapped. Hunter Senior's up to that position, past Ryan Carwile. And that climb by McWhorter, ever so steady, even with the slight contact he made in that last caution, but he's still driven that thing all the way up to 6th.
I know it says he started in 3rd. He was outside the top 20 to start this race off. So he definitely had an EOL or some kind of penalty that put him deep into this field. He's had to race his way back up there. So as far as positions gained go, I'm going to put McWhorter probably in that 20 to 25 range of passing cars here tonight to be here.
I can look at it from where he started. I mean, he started on the back row, so he was effectively starting this race from dead last. And through all that, about getting to halfway, he's about to find his way close to the top 5. He hasn't been able to really close in on Turner to battle for that position, but right in the hunt for sure.
That lead's starting to shrink a little bit. Down to 2 tenths. McWhorter's catching up.
Floyd come to pit
Banks,
lane.
I apologize. Banks catching up.
He caught up a little bit, then he lost a little bit last time. It's like he tries to get in that half-second range, and that dirty air really starts messing with the front nose of that 35. And he's just not able to close in any further as McWhorter just went high into 3. I think he's trying to over-under Bailey Turner to get a run down the front stretch. Just wasn't able to do it, but yeah, just that, dirty air is still going to be a thing, and that's one thing about getting rid of that draft. I mean, it's going to be not as strong, so that dirty air, like we saw at Charlotte, is going to be a little bit more evident when drivers are racing one-on-one like this.
Find me a close one.
Don't know if we've got a close one. I did see Dakota Floyd call it tonight. He had damage, and he pulled it down to pit lane, which is a shame. He was a driver running well last week as well. We got Chuck Sweeting in a battle. This is pretty far off the lead for that 18th position. It's almost, we got kind of packs formulating. This is about 13 seconds off Ferrata in the race lead. But it's all the battling going on right now for that 18th position. Even a little further up, Max Cost, Elliott Butler kind of going to battle for that 16th position.
And Cross is going to get to the inside into turn 1. I kind of feel the same tempo now that I felt at New Hampshire in the Challenger Series, though. We're going to run for a long time and get everybody committed to a strategy, and then we're going to throw it out the window with a caution. I hate to say that, Connor, but that's what I feel like right now.
Let's hope not, but you never know, as Butler just conceded 17th Eddie Trejo, so 16 starting to really struggle, but we shouldn't be, I guess, not too far away from pit stops, but we might be close on a one-stop strategy. I mean, we might see these drivers really get close on a tank of fuel. I don't know how many of these drivers, as Butler's sliding out of 3, I thought that was going to be the yellow right there. He really has lost the handle on that 16 car, but the fuel, I'm not sure if these drivers can even make it to lap 50, and last time, you know, we had a caution, really, that drivers, you know, came to pit on was about lap 17 or so. It's going to be tight on fuel possibly on a one-stop, but this track is so big and the fall-off is not so severe. I don't know if pitting an extra time is worth it. I mean, I think you'd rather just try to save that fuel if you need to get to the end of this race. And just factor in Bailey Turner's times on this run. I mean, his fastest time on this stint is a 54.63. Last time by he ran a 55.58. So it's really only not even a second's worth of fall off. So that extra pit stop seemingly I would not think is worth it.
We got to make mention here, Connor. Kenny Kibbe has been quietly running in this top 3. He got around Bailey Turner a while ago, and he sat in 3rd for about 10 or so laps. 14 cars looking really promising as well. I know we didn't make picks, but Kibbe can make up a lot of this ground, maybe from a short pit.
But if the fuel's close, a short pit almost certainly wouldn't be possible if you're going to be that close on fuel, but we'll just have to wait and see how this all plays out. What's worrying to me is that he's been in clean air for a while, but he's not really been able to close in on Joshua Banks. I mean, those top 2 have been able to pull away by a decent bit. I mean, it's roughly 2 seconds from Banks to Kibbe right now. You look behind Kenny Kibbe, it's not like he's got no one behind him, and he's got Cabot, Turner, McWhorter, Hatchell. I mean, he's got about a line of 7 other cars behind him wait for their chance to get into that top 3. So I'd worry if Kibbe's be there, even if he's in clean air like he is right now. If he gets in dirty air, he can drop. But Cabot's kind of struggling to get to him.
Again, the dirty air playing a factor. This track very draft heavy. Seems like right now we're running quiet, taking away the laps. What do you say here, Connor? We're coming past that halfway point right here with Nathan Ferrata. What do you say we ask him to find those volume knobs and get a noise complaint?
I would hope they turn him up so far that they break that knob and can't turn it back.
There we go. Let's go ahead and get loud. Presented by FireStorm Racing.
Oh, Josh Adams crashed.
Caution is out. That was Get Loud presented by FireStorm Racing. And, man, 13 at Caleb Weekly almost got a moment there. But Josh Adams destroyed on the front end on lap 44.
That was really odd. Didn't see anyone around the 6 car, but that was a pretty big hit out of a tunnel turn. That front clip's destroyed on Josh Adams. Remember, almost stole the title from Bailey Turner last season late, but it's really been a struggle to start this year. Was battling with James Lehman. That was for, I would say, the 9th position. Pulled away from down Long Pond. Turn. And lose it way late. Really hard hit to that safer barrier too. And then this Caleb Weekly, I think Weekly hit the brakes and hit the outside wall. That's why that happened. But yeah, really late on exit. I mean, there's so much wheel spin in these cars, so much horsepower. You might think you have it on exit and you're not, and you're in control, and then all of a sudden you're not. There's Weekly right there turning off the wall, but you have so much wheel spin that you might not even feel it sometimes. I think right there, Josh Adams thought he was safe and out of the corner, not having to breathe out of it, and just snaps out of nowhere, and boom, race over for the 6. And this is going to put everyone in a really awkward spot fuel-wise to the end of this race. We're going to pit lap 44. We're probably going to go green lap 46. So we're going to restart with 34 to go. It's going to be really tight on fuel for these drivers.
Well, let's bring him down pit road.
By the way, these pit stops, I think, more crucial than ever now, with clearly clean air is a pretty important factor at this track, especially tonight. So we talked about over. I mean, the 05 was only able to get up to about 10th. Ferrata, it's up to him to make no mistakes now, and kind of undershot it, but better than overshooting. He saw James Lehman that time. He was also pretty careful into his box. I wonder if you see 2 tires. I don't think you do this time. Rada's out first.
And I didn't think anybody would try it, but I've been wrong before.
I would not have hated it if someone tried 2 tires there. I mean, clean air is so important that just getting to the lead might have mattered a lot more. It's a good break for a lot of drivers at the back who are nursing a ton of damage, like Angelo Horonis, Christopher Hodges, Case Lakatos. Lakatos, by the way, making his first start. Didn't really note that, but remember, he ran pretty much full-time last season. Almost stole a win at Kern County, making his first start of the season in the 50.
We have more coverage to continue here from the Tricky Triangle. We'll get doubled back up in just a moment. You're watching the Saturday Night Racing League live on VSPEED. More coverage continues in just a moment.
JS Racing. We're in the game.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Drivers,
To keep pace with the ever-changing landscape of marketing and advertising, let Clark Print Shop help you spot the trends and keep you in front of the pack with all your color printing needs. From business cards to invitations, menus to mugs, we can print anything you need on paper or your choice of over 3,000 promotional items. Visit www.clarkprintshop.com to browse our online catalog and place your order today, or call us at 276-889-3426. For a limited time, use the code iRacing for 23% off your first purchase. The staff at Clark Print Shop looks forward to handling all your color printing needs.
Walking and rolling costumes started when my son Reese was born with cancer.
So when I was 3 years old, I got my first wheelchair.
And he wanted to be Wall-E for Halloween that year. And so I knew you couldn't buy a costume to go on a wheelchair at that time. So I knew I had to build one.
My dad ended up building a Wall-E costume out of a Dell computer box.
When we were all finished, he loved it. We took pictures of it and shared it on social media. So many people started sharing it that we started getting requests from people we didn't know.
In 2015, we decided to build them for other kids because people were asking, hey, can you build them for my kid?
So we started the nonprofit organization, Walking and Rolling Costumes, and we build costumes for kids all over the nation, free of charge to the families.
Welcome back here to our coverage. You're watching there side by side under commercial break with, oh man, Kibby. We watched 3 wide going into the tunnel turn, and I made some sounds there, Connor.
Well, I made a sound when Kibby almost got booted by Joshua Banks. Not a good restart for Banks. Remember, he was second that entire last run. He's lost that spot plus a few more. He's about to fall back to 6th if he can't defend Chad Klinger here, and it is packed up. We were just saying in our break, if these restarts going to get more and more wild the more you have, because 30 years pretty apparent. It is rearing its ugly head tonight, and you don't get someone on a restart, you might not get them.
Now take it while the opportunity presents itself. Of course, this series presented by M&J Distributors. We've got cars Dyson all over the racetrack. That's the 71, the 05, the 13, and the 02 all over the place going into 3.
Yeah, Hunter Sr. got put arrow loose by Carwile, almost wrecked him and Caleb Weekly. James Lehman still trying to recover from that damage right in the middle of all this. The top 5 have kind of gotten away. 6th on back still pretty packed up.
Just outside the top 10 here. 11th position, 71 and 05. Side by side. Carwile's going to get the advantage down. Going into the tunnel turn here. Lehman's going to hop in behind.
Warder looked to be inside, trying to get by Happyack, and they almost made contact up ahead, but here comes Lehman still trying to recover. Got to be inside of Carwile, was able to make that work on the exit of a tunnel turn. Got that nose under the rear, but got really tight in turn 3 and sliding that car, drifting it out of turn 3. You're starting to see the snake. It's Indianapolis all over again. You know, draft might not be there too much, but Nathan Ferrata does not want anyone getting close to him to try to steal this lead away, steal that clean air away, especially not Adam Cabot.
Well, Cabot's not going to fall for that. I know that a lot of times guys will dive down there on that front stretch. Cabot will keep running his line and keep doing what he's doing, make up in the corners what he loses maybe here or there with not having the draft. But Ferrata, every lap that's went by, he's pulled out maybe 100th here, 100th there. Last time by, it was a full 10th.
Did take a look at Joshua Banks's on board, and did sound like he was clutching in. He gave up a spot to Chad Klinger and falling back to McWhorter and Happyack. Yep, right there. clutching in, trying to save any fuel possible to get to the end. It's going to be a long stretch on fuel, but a track like this, you have pretty long braking zones, and you have a lot of time you could coast into these corners.
Especially there in turns 3 and turns 2.
It's got to be scary saving fuel into a tunnel turn because, you know, you get on that clutch, you're not really having the engine braking capabilities, so you go into the corner faster than normal. You get to a point where you're like, oh gosh, I'm not going to make this corner. I'm in the wall. But he's got to be very careful. He's going to have to use a little bit more brake while clutching like that as he just got McWhorter sideways out of 3.
What a save there from the 73. See if we can go look on board with that steering wheel. Watch this.
Gotta be the biggest just joy in the world we can get someone aero loose like that. From a driver's standpoint, it is fun to do to someone, but it's not fun to be on the receiving end of it like McWhorter was there.
That was really sideways, and you're watching the 35 of Banks fall back. If you are a Banks fan, don't panic. He's saving fuel. He's letting these guys go, thinking big picture.
Definitely thought I heard Turner doing it in the tunnel turn as well. So that's 2 drivers for sure that might be trying it. Turner didn't do it into 3 that time, but he definitely clutched in into a tunnel turn. Banks is doing it really every part of the racetrack.
Right on board with the 24 of Turner and see what he does into turn 1.
Clutch here. I think he wants to save fuel, but he's also not wanting to give this spot back up to Kenny Kibbe. It's all a balance. You got to try to save as much fuel as possible, but also if you can keep any track position while saving that fuel, you're going to try it. As he's back off the clutch, so I think Kibbe got a little too close for him to be kind of coasting into these corners. Banks is doing the exact opposite. He doesn't care who passes him right now. He's just trying to make it to the end of the race on this tank.
So if you're Ferrana, you have no clue what's going on back there. You're just happy to be in clean air. Unfortunately, down this front stretch, you're burning more fuel.
Yeah, I think he's probably in the worst spot if this goes green. He's going to have no help from the draft. Might not help a lot with how toned down it is, but he's not going to get any help from that. He's in the cleanest air possible. Great if you can make it to the end on fuel. Otherwise, you're probably going to have to pit a lap or 2 earlier than everyone else who's on the same tank in dirty air and not getting to the throttle as often as the 07 is. Just heard Brian Chambliss clutching as well. He's back in 23rd. He's one of the drivers who actually came down to top off on fuel. So technically he does have that extra lap to try to make it as Cardinal Wall. I think that was Keith Shoemaker. Billy Turner's going to the inside wall just for the fun of it. Why not?
Clutch this time for the 24.
He got a little bit of a gap to Kibbe, so he decided I'll try to get back on it right there. Now Kibbe's back to him, and also Chad Klinger's in the fight, which I'm sure that's who Bailey Turner wants to see.
I kind of get excited, though, seeing the 09 and the 24 get side by side. I know something's going to happen.
Guys who aren't good on fuel, I'm sure, would like it as well. As 09's going right now, no doubt about it. Kibbe got a pretty big wiggle out of turn 2 there, the tunnel turn right there. So Klinger's going to go by, going to get that 4th position away. I think we heard the 24 clutch in that time. And what this is doing, I mean, those top 2 are gone. I mean, whether they can make it on fuel or not, if they can get a big enough gap, maybe it won't matter. But you'd have to get a pretty big gap at Pocono to be able to make that pit stop, that splash and go, and get out in front of these guys. It is 2 seconds from Cabot to Turner right now. Just under that, actually.
On board with Ben Lapter in 15th position.
Knocked the wall down out of the tunnel turn that time. Kibby's going to get that spot back. 4th.
This is
like the strategy. Sorry, Bradley. I'm starting to really like the strategy of the.
sounds like that headset died there for a minute.
I wish they'd give me a reason to get a new one. It's not just a bad wire. I'm just trying to figure out who topped off here. I think saw Chuck Sweeting do it, Donnie Kite, Elliott Butler, Chambliss, Trejo, Cost, Brandon Wallace. Those are some drivers I'd look at right now who topped off, got that extra bit of fuel. That might be the difference.
And they're still on the clutch pedal too, so that tells me that what these guys in the top 10 are doing is a major stretch.
Problem with these guys, they're still kind of battling amongst each other. I am interested to see how far Bailey Turner can back some other drivers up to try to make it on fuel himself, because he is really backing up Chad Klinger and Kenny Kibbe. And there's even more cars coming back into the fight.
Meekley's on the clutch pedal as well with Shoemaker. This is back here around 20th position. But if they can't make it here, especially in this top 10, this puts everybody that topped off with fuel in a better situation, provided they can make it. If they can make it, we're going to see this top 10 flip-flop in about probably the next, I'd say, 10 laps.
Hey, what, the battle for the lead really flip-flopped. I think Ferrata realized he's not looking good on fuel. He gave up a whole bunch of time to Adam Cabot, and Cabot's going to go for the lead. I think Ferrata's flipped to trying to make the fuel work, and Cabot's going to take the lead away because of it.
Yeah, if you didn't commit to it from the start, it's not going to work.
Yeah, I don't like that from him. He was already going full send for over 10 laps. I think at that point, you just commit to coming in for a splash of fuel, it not at least 2 tires, but I don't like kind of committing late. I think this is the wrong decision. It might be good for Cabot. He might be committing to try to make it, as Chad Klinger finally got that 3rd spot from Bailey Turner, but I think Ferrata might be in trouble if he's trying to make it from here.
Not to mention he had all that air on the front end. He's burning more fuel than a lot of these cars.
Maybe his thought process is get behind Cabot, use that draft, and just kind of use that to his advantage. We'll have to wait and see, but I don't like kind of flipping strategies in the middle of it all, but he's definitely done that. As now you got Klinger going full send. I think Bailey Turner's just trying to make it on fuel now. He's giving up positions instead of holding drivers up. He's back to about 6th. You got Joshua Banks, who's been saving from the get-go, back in 11th. And I think the highest driver up on track who did come down to top off on fuel might be Elliott Butler or Chuck Sweeting. It's one of the two.
I'm going to go with Chuck Sweeting on that.
I believe it's Sweeting, yes.
And Trejo as well. Trejo topped off.
Yes, he did. He's 13th. Trying to listen. He was not clutching into 3, though. Nick Hapiak's in, so this is really our first driver who's kind of thrown in the towel and said, okay, I can't make it on fuel. I've got to do this stop. It's going to be Hapiak first to blink.
Well, we'll keep this pit stop timer on the bottom left corner for a moment.
See if he takes 4. His Cabot's running away with the lead now. Ferrata's really trying to drop it. Hapiak did take 2 tires, so we'll see if that comes into play at all.
I don't know if you were watching Cabot or not, but he's clutching as well.
That's a lot of fuel to save at a track like this. I mean, 1 lap's 2.5 miles. you're probably going to have to save at least that, or maybe even 5 miles, something like that, to make it to the end.
Oh, well, I believe Cabot started clutching 500 feet before the corner, so.
You're going to do it that much, then maybe there's a chance. But I worry with how much he's having to drop. I mean, last lap, Chad Klinger was a full second faster than Adam Cabot. He's gotten by Ferrata. Kenny Kibbe's going to probably get by the 07 as well. This is as wild of a finish setting up as I've seen in a while on fuel. Even Atlanta wasn't this crazy last season. I mean, it could be anyone's race right now.
So I got to say here with Chad Klinger and Ferrata, Kibbe, McWhorter's working his way closer to this top spot. It fits right in the wheelhouse for this guy right here. This is the race that he thrives on. He's proven it several times. When it comes to strategy and winning a race on pit road, the 24 car got it done a lot last season. There's a reason he might be the first back-to-back and the first multi-time champion in Saturday Night Racing League.
Well, this is definitely a champion's drive if you can save enough fuel at a track like this to get the victory, as Chad Klinger took the lead away from Cabot, so Cabot's now dropping like a rock trying to save that fuel. But I do agree. I mean, he's been so good at fuel races in this series specifically before, and I would put it past him. But I don't remember last time we had a fuel race like this. It was that 9 car of Chambliss. He's pretty far back, so I'd still call it unlikely, but you just never quite know. I mean, it's so much fuel for these drivers at the front to save, the guys who didn't top off. I just struggle to see how that works, as I think Kibbe's coming in.
Coming in hot.
I think he's in good. So it's that's the first front runner to just pit and bite the bullet. And Kibbe just realized he's not going to make this work and had
that could be the call. That could be the call. Some of these guys might need to decide that now, with 15 to go. If you're not going to make it,
it's about the halfway point. We went 3 laps.
It might not be that halfway point in the run, Connor, but it is kind of that. If you can't make it, and everyone can't make it, you want to give yourself enough time on fresher tires, especially on a short stint, to race your way back up to the position you were in for some of these guys that did top off. I think I would pit here if I know I'm not making it.
Let's see what happens to Kibbe. He took 4 tires there. Here comes Chad Klinger. He's going to pit. He's going to decommit. Here comes Ryan Carwell. He's going to come. Eddie Trejo. Remember, Trejo topped off, and he's going to come down to pit lane, as is Stephen Davis. So I think a lot of drivers are going to just bite the bullet and pit here. I am interested to see what happens with Kenny Kibbe. He took 4 tires there. Remember, Nick Hapiak, who pit laps earlier, took 2, and he's gotten out 4 or 5 seconds ahead of him, as now the battle for the lead is McWhorter and James Lehman.
James Lehman started on the top spot here tonight. Led 15 laps. Made a mistake into the pit stall. Fell out of the top 5. Got involved in an incident. Had some damage. He's recovered back up here. The 05 needs to get a good finish.
Oh, happened a little bit. Here comes James Lehman, the pit lane, so he's going to come down and make that pit stop. Ben Laughter in 9th, he's going to pit. Elliott Butler, another driver who topped off, coming to pit lane. All these drivers who are pitting are taking 4 tires. Only one to take 2 so far is Nick Hapiak.
Want to see if McWhorter's on the clutch pedal.
Him? No chance, no. Bailey Turner gonna try just to make it work.
Your headset is giving you fits tonight, Connor.
I'm trying my best.
Turner's going to commit to this, though, and you can watch here on the telemetry with him how early he's on the clutch pedal. Almost all the way through turn 1.
And I will say, McWhorter did clutch in the one there.
Wish I had the numbers here.
This is incredible.
It's going to come down to fractions now.
It's going to come down to who can just coast across the line, really.
How many times have we seen that at Pocono? You want to make me feel old again?
Coasting across the line, it hasn't happened a lot. I've seen a lot of drivers run out of fuel at Pocono.
I believe there was a driver that is...
Adam Cabot spinning into turn number 1. Him and Joshua Banks got together and the caution's out. Oh, and Nathan Ferrata's got damage out of it. So scratch all that.
All that fuel saved for nothing.
I was worried about that. I saw these drivers 3 a bunch, and I gotta think Cabot was clutching in early and just got ran over because of it. Yeah, I think Cabot was still lifting and coasting really early before the corner, and Joshua Banks wasn't ready for it.
See this one more time. On board with Cabot.
Just wonder how this... Let's see if all those drivers who already came down the pit lane, they probably stay out. Yeah. He really lifted early, and Banks just wasn't ready for it. And poor Ferrata, who dominates so much of this race, gets big damage.
And this will bring the remainder of the field down pit road.
Yeah, driver on track who pit under green was Nick Hapiak in 17th. I would bet that those drivers who pit, like Chad Klinger, Kenny Kibbe, I would think they all stay out.
I would.
I mean, just to have a track position is so important at this stage. I think they have to.
I would stay out. There's enough cushion there. There's about 10 cars that had game down pit road. I would recommit myself to this next 10 laps.
Hey, this is to the end. As long as those guys stay out, this is actually just not going to work out for them because they're going to lose this track. Hapiak and Kibbe are gonna pit. Chad Klinger stays out. Lehman stays out. I am shocked Hapiak and Kibbe ended up pitting.
Klinger stays out. Lehman, Carlisle, a lot of other cars that had came in and recommitted. Do we see any 2 tires calls on that? 26, Donnie Kite. He's gonna take 2.
That is gutsy. I don't hate it though.
So it will be Chad Klinger with under 10 laps to go as your command car. We're going to take another quick break here on VSPEED. More coverage will continue in just a moment.
JS Racing. We're in the game.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Drivers, start your printers.
To keep pace with the ever-changing landscape of marketing and advertising, let Clark Print Shop help you spot the trends and keep you in front of the pack with all your color printing needs. From business cards to invitations, menus to mugs, we can print anything you need on paper or your choice of over 3,000 promotional items. Visit www.clarkprintshop.com to browse our online catalog and place your order today, or call us at 276-889-3426. For a limited time, use the code iRacing for 23% off your first purchase. The staff at Clark Print Shop looks forward to handling all your color printing needs.
Walking and rolling costumes started when my son Reese was born with cancer.
So when I was 3 years old, I got my first wheelchair.
And he wanted to be Wall-E for Halloween that year. And so I knew you couldn't buy a costume to go on a wheelchair at that time. So I knew I had to build one.
My dad ended up building a Wall-E costume out of a Dell computer box.
When we were all finished, he loved it. We took pictures of it and shared it on social media. So many people started sharing it that we started getting requests from people we didn't know.
In 2015, we decided to build them for other kids because people were asking.
Back here live at POCONO with Chad Klinger as the command car. James Lehman, Ryan Carlisle, Ben Laughter. We have a lot of strategies that just flip-flopped for this restart. 9 laps left at POCONO. And I tell you what, Chad Klinger is in a great spot right now. Staying out with a handful of cars behind him as a cushion. You have Lehman, Carlisle, Laughter, Donnie Kite on 2 tires. He's trying to work his way through this pack. Can't get around the 64.
Order going to the 3rd lane. That's not going to work. Whoa! Ben Laughter gave the boot to Carlisle. Oh, 8 cars sliding. Oh, they're going to be inside wall. Big crash.
Caution's out.
Chambliss and Seth Hatchell crashed. That was late on the exit of turn 3.
That sounds like not giving an inch, but here's the 8 sideways, and
thought they were going to hit the barrels for a second.
Back this up one more time. Look at it from the blimp camera.
Ooh, Hatchell slid up, or that was Chuck Sweeting. He slid up the track.
I think the 8 was lower than he should have been there. I'm going to play devil's advocate here.
It's tough to call. I think Chuck Sweeting just got really aero tight behind Turner right there, shoots up the track. It's tough to say, but they came together either way, and Hatchell got the worst end of that. And I think that was Christopher Hodges that got into the back of the 8 and lost the wheel. Oh yeah. Just sheared the left front off that 15 car.
I want to go back one more time though. Watch here with Sweeting. He ends up making it out of this. And don't get me wrong, I love Seth Hatchell, but watch maybe in slow motion here. Watch the 8 car to the outside coming off of turn 3 and just kind of see where everybody else is going off this exit. Okay. Yep. Sweeting came up.
I mean, the 8 might have been a little lower, but, you know, you still got to kind of control your own car if you're on the inside of someone. And I think Sweeting, you know, got right behind Bailey Turner. And when you get right behind someone, if you don't get them loose, you're going to get tight. And you kind of saw his car shoot pretty far up the racetrack. And there's nowhere for him to go at that point.
This is what Chad Klinger wants. He's going to be the command car again for even less laps.
Yeah,
it's going to be about 3 to go.
And we're going to go green with next time by, probably. Not this time, but next time. Go green with 4 to go, and any other caution is going to put us in green-white checker territory. And none of the guys on tires could really get up there. Kite's up to 5th, and he's on 2 tires. And then you have McWhorter on 4. And he's in 6th.
Well, a shout out here to J.R. Shepard. That car is destroyed. And he continues to be out here tonight. He's back on the lead lap now with this free pass position. He can still salvage the day.
Yeah, he hasn't ran a lap below 57 seconds since lap 13. But he's been able to soldier on and could salvage something out of the day without a hood.
I think he gets a top 15 if he keeps it up. I think it's possible.
We'll just have to wait and see.
Chad Klinger, James Lehman, Carlisle, Lapter, and Kite on the top 5. Remember, Donnie Kite took 2 tires on his last pit stop. Joseph McWhorter, 4 tires. Only have 4 cars that had stayed out from the previous caution. Chad Klinger probably needs this one to go green for a lap and then have a caution. Put us into guaranteed overtime position and then let it run out to the end. If he gets more than 1 green-white checkered, I don't think the 09 can win this thing.
I think the less restarts that from this point for Chad Klinger, that would be better. And one thing for McWhorter that's at least a somewhat of a positive, he's got Elliott Butler in between him and Bailey Turner. Those are the first 2 drivers on 4 tires, the 73 and the 24. And they're going to be starting in the same lane, so 73, 24 probably won't be able to swap positions until the Long Pond straightaway.
Yeah, and Klinger's relying on these 3 cars behind him to kind of hold these drivers up. And with Donnie Kite, I think he's not as much of a factor. He still has grip, but he doesn't have what McWhorter and Butler, Turner, these guys from 6th place on back have. So there's going to be a point where if a caution comes out, you want it to come out early, then you want it to be green-white checkered, then you want it to go green. You don't want to give McWhorter 2 or 3 restarts to get around some of these guys. Because turn 1, he absolutely will do it.
This is certainly a good test of dirty air, though. I mean, you got these guys up here who have pretty worn tires, and then you got the fresh tires, and now you got 4 laps. I mean, if you can get at least a 4-lap run here, I'm just interested to see if those tires can do anything at all.
Week 6, down to the wire. It'll be 4 laps to go for this restart with Chad Klinger in the 09. James Lehman, who started on the pole on the outside. 4 cars with older tires. 1 with 2. The rest of this field on 4 fresh ones. Here we go for another late race restart at Pocono.
Ben Laughter did not go at all. That killed the top lane and those guys on 4 tires, McWhorter and Turner.
I believe that was the 31 that dove to the inside.
Turner's got shoved way out of line.
It's coming back, though. There's Donnie Kite inside of Ryan Carwile trying to complete this pass. He's going to get loose through the tunnel turn. Carwile's going to hold on.
Lehman had a big run out of a tunnel turn. He's right on the bumper of Chad Klinger. He got to the inside of Chad Klinger for the race lead, side by side. Oh, McWhorter got booted by Ben Laughter. He's going to be out of the fight.
A little bit of damage on the front of that 73. Klinger holds on to the top spot.
I think, yeah, 64 got into the 73, and then Turner got into the 73 a little bit. But Lehman just couldn't quite complete the pass. Here comes Carwile. He is right there.
Chad Klinger might have taken just enough fuel to make this thing. 05's around. Donnie Kite. Ryan Carwile destroyed.
Oh, Brandon Wallace. Brandon Wallace and Max Cost piled in late there.
And we're into overtime at Pocono.
Not what
off of
Klinger
the tunnel
wanted to
turn.
see. Yeah, 05 kind of gets blocked by Klinger. That gives Carwile a little bit of a lane to be inside. Lehman got loose. That's what happened. The 05 got sideways in a tunnel turn. And Carwile couldn't do anything. And how did Bailey Turner avoid that car? And then those guys, the 99 and 63, piled in late. Couldn't see through the smoke. But Lehman got sideways, and then Carwile ran into him because of that. And then Kite got into Carwile. Wow, man, did he not get damage from that somehow?
That's a close one.
Wow, I can't believe that. Yep, there's a contact right there. There's Kite right there.
And freeze.
Oh. By the way, we should have gotten into green-white checker territory, but it has the session hasn't triggered it. We might not have green-white checkers. So that might have been the race accidentally. You know, you go through all these sessions, make all these sessions. I guess you're bound to miss a few things, and we are sure as heck coming around to the white flag right here.
Well, we're going to go back to Pocono when it was ended because of rain.
In 1999. And that is the white flag. This race is over. We did not have green-white checkers enabled for this restarted session. Chad Klinger's going to steal one. Wow.
Well, Andrew Toganoff is in the chat. What's your opinion on this?
I could only imagine his opinion. Never.
He's got remarkable opinions.
Not to mention series admin's going to go to victory lane.
Maybe the guy that set up the session?
He planned it all along.
Yep, he knew. Well, this one might be protested. I don't know.
Do we do a new session, a 3-lap sprint?
Yeah.
Everyone gets even tires? I don't think Klinger would want that. All those guys on fresh tires are behind him. I mean, Kite was going to be right there. It was going to be a heck of a restart. I think Chad Klinger was in trouble because everyone else behind him was on 4 tires. How about Hunter Sr.? He got up to 4th through all that. But
yeah, I think a lot of these guys just want to leave it as it is. Chad Klinger definitely does.
Chad Klinger does. I don't think Kite or Bailey Turner wanted to.
Well, here we go. Underpace laps. We're not going to call it official. I don't know what exactly is going to happen here. But Chad Klinger.
We'll see. I'm trying to listen to them. They might do a unofficial green-white check here. And this might be a mess.
Don't tell me they're doubling back up.
I wish we could get word from one of them, but we just don't quite know. Nathan Ferrata hit pit lane. I think he's a lap down, or he was tail end, so don't think that mattered.
I think they're lining up for it here, Connor. I think they're lining up for it. Chad Klinger's electing the outside. They're going to let the pace car pull off. This is going to mess with everything on my final race results. I am not going to have final race results tonight. I can tell you that.
Yeah. So it sounds like they're going to do this unofficially, and this will be an unofficial green and white checkered. So this will count for the final results. So Chad Klinger has not won this race. We are doubling up for a restart that will count. Untimed, unlapped, basically.
Somebody's going to be really busy on the points.
This has never happened. There's been a lot of problems with setting up sessions, and I do commend the admin team for doing this. This might get tricky, but I commend them for at least trying this. So, Chad Klinger takes the top. Donnie Kite, remember, he's on 2 tires. The 02 of Hunter Sr.
Remember,
Bailey Turner,
the pace car's not coming back after this.
No,
it doesn't exist.
This is one green-white checker. This is it right here. Here we go.
Here we go. I'm not even putting the ticker up because it's not going to be correct. Green flag back underway. Green, white, checkered. One lap around here. We'll get the white flag next time by. Chad Klinger up front.
Kite's blocking Turner. That'll help. I think the 09. They're 3 wide. By the way, there's no spotters if the race is over, so that's going to be interesting.
Oh, boy.
Kite's the second.
Car on the wall. That's max cost.
I think the guy in 2 tires, I think that's who Chad Klinger wants behind him the most. But you got 2 teammates. If they can get hooked up out of 3, they might have a shot. Maybe tandeming by. You got a spin in the back. Adam Cabot and Adrian
Big wreck
Ferrata.
in the back. 17's around.
Will they end it?
I don't think they'll end it. I think they're going to run it out to the end.
Guess we're getting the white. Unofficially, we're getting the white flag.
Where art thou, Jeff Wright?
Kite's right there. If he could just get to the bumper of Chad Klinger, get him loosened up.
I think 2 tires has just not got the grip there. He might send it through the tunnel turn. One more time around here at Pocono. We're halfway around this racetrack. One more corner to go. Chad Klinger gave him the grace of a green-white checkered, and it still wasn't enough. Ascend to the outside. It looks like just maybe the 02 is going to find his way around for Hunter Sr. He will, but it's going to be Chad Klinger victorious. Yet again.
I believe when that wreck happened out of 1, they did call the race there. But they kept going, I think, because no one was sure. But doesn't matter at the front. Chad Klinger won either way.
Well, then I have no clue who I'm interviewing.
I think top 3 stays the same. We get Kite and Hunter Sr., I believe. Regardless.
Well, Hunter Sr. could be second, he could be third, because he passed on turn 3. I don't know.
Well, we'll find out next week. We will find out next week when we go to wherever the heck we're going. Kentucky. No, Dover. We'll find out at Dover who finished where, but we know for sure that 09's going to victory lane.
I can't even give a biggest mover award. I want to give it to Chuck Sweeting, but I don't know if it's true or not. So I'm just going to give it to him.
I think it will go to him, but once again, we'll find out at Dover.
Okay. All right. Well, you know what? While we figure all of this out, let's watch Chad Klinger burn it down on the front stretch.
That yellow with Adam Cabot, I mean, it set it up for him to stay out. And track position was the name of the game tonight.
Believe this is his 5th win here at Saturday Night Racing League. You can check me on that. But Chad Klinger gonna burn it down on the longest front stretch in North America. And using the wall as an assist. That's pretty clean, actually.
I've never seen that. That's pretty cool.
All right. Well, we have some final race results that we have to go through. I don't know if anything's official at this point. I know Chad Klinger is your winner. We'll probably just skip to interviews, but we have more coverage to continue here on VSPEED right after this.
JS Racing. We're in the game.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Drivers, start your printers.
To keep pace with the ever-changing landscape of marketing and advertising, let Clark Print Shop help you spot the trends and keep you in front of the pack with all your color printing needs. From business cards to invitations, menus to mugs, we can print anything you need on paper or your choice of over 3,000 promotional items. Visit www.clarkprintshop.com to browse our online catalog and place your order today, or call us at 276-889-3426. For a limited time, use the code iRacing for 23% off your first purchase. The staff at Clark Print Shop looks forward to handling all your color printing needs.
Walking and Rolling Costumes started when my son Reese was born with cancer.
So when I was 3 years old, I got my first wheelchair.
And he wanted to be Wall-E for Halloween that year. And so I knew you couldn't buy a costume to go on a wheelchair at that time. So I knew I had to build one.
My dad ended up building a Wall-E costume out of a Dell computer box.
When we were all finished, he loved it. We took pictures of it and shared it on social media. So many people started sharing it that we started getting requests from people we didn't know.
In 2015, we decided to build them for other kids because people were asking, hey, can you build them for my kids?
So we started the nonprofit organization, Walking and Rolling Costumes, and we build costumes for kids all over the nation, free of charge to the families.
That's fine.
Back here live at Pocono, where we've had kind of a unique situation, but nonetheless, we do have our top three. We are not going to go through final race results. Nothing is official right now. We had a green-white checkered after iRacing's timing and scoring ceased to exist. And so with that, Chad Klinger was still the consistency up towards the front, but what changed a little bit was our second and third spot. A lot went on there in those last few laps, and it was just, one of those things, Connor, that we had a session set up wrong for setups, and we put up a new session. We're all human. We make mistakes.
Yeah, it was a lot tonight. I guess the first session didn't have the right setups. Then the second session didn't have a lap count. And so the third session, which we just concluded, it didn't have green-white checkers. And of course, with the way Saturday Night Racing League Season 5's gone, it came down to needing green-white checkers, and we didn't have them. So we ran an unofficial one where Chad Klinger was able to stay victorious. Donald Kite was able to stay in second, and Hunter Sr. stole third from Bailey Turner. That's pretty much all we know about the finishing order. Once again, we're pretty much being serious when we say we'll know the full results officially at Dover next week, but sure as heck don't know right now.
Well, either way, we do have the ability to pull up drivers, and I apologize if the graphics and the podium interviews are incorrect for a moment. When I click the button, it's going to go based off of iRacing's timing and scoring from where it ended. I will correct it. Just give me a little break here, guys. We're going to pull up the guy that I will click on that is going to be correct instantaneously, and that is Chad Klinger in the 09. Hey, how's it going, buddy?
It's going. That was a terrible admin race. Yeah, we forgot green white checkered, so we had an unofficial green white checkered. So yeah, that was terrible on my part because I created the session. But yeah, it's here we are.
You need me to save the replay to make sure we get all of these drivers. I know that is going to be a headache. Whoever's doing the points this week, I have no clue how they're going to figure that out.
No. We got it. It'll be a headache, but it's our fault, so we have to fix it. It wasn't 3 green white checkers, but at least we had 1. We'll get the points fixed. At least I can say that I beat everybody back to the line twice, so I'm kind of officially a winner. I know it wasn't 3 green white checkers, but yeah, just terrible. It was terrible night with setting up the sessions, but it was a great race. I think I had my brake bias the wrong direction half the race, so I fixed that, and I finally kind of moved forward. That last kind of pit cycle for myself, well, around 65 laps, 15 to go. I wasn't trying to make it. I didn't think I would make it anyway. So I knew a lot of people were saving. I blew by and I didn't blow by Bailey, but Bailey was lifting. Adam Cabot was lifting. I think Enathian was also. So yeah, we pit. Good thing the caution came out. I don't know why, but Kenny Kibbe pit. I would expect he stayed out because he was on the same strategy. He might have had a shot at the win. But yeah, it was a great race. I haven't checked all the cautions, but that'll be for post race.
We're gonna check all the asterisks here. Chad, and with the late start and then kind of a session that maybe had some problems, we're going to put all of that aside. Let's go back to the fact that you got that restart. You guys as an admin team made that call to put everybody on a green, white checkered unofficially and give everyone an opportunity. You still come out in first place.
Yeah, that's very sweet. I didn't think I'd be able to hold off the guys on tires. That's why I picked the outside lane, so Bailey was at a more of a disadvantage. And then Kenny Kibbe ended up passing him on that restart. But yeah, I'm proud of myself for doing that because I usually mess up those situations. But I did not tonight, and I am thankful. I don't know what else to say because I'm just
rain delay.
Yeah,
just say that.
A rain delay. It was a huge rain delay.
We ended it under a rain delay, and you know what? On top of that, you've got multiple wins here in Saturday Night Racing League. You always seem to find your way to win a race when we're postseason, and maybe not even a factor, but now this one puts you in a better situation for next week.
Most definitely. I was suspended last week, so I didn't get any points last week, and I haven't had the best races up until now, so I needed a lot of good points today. This really helps with that, and hopefully I can continue that in the races forward.
Well, Chad, we have a lot of people that help support Saturday Night Racing League. They put your race car on the track. Sherwin-Williams, I love the paint scheme. You need to chrome that thing out like you did there on the next gen, but who put this car out there tonight?
Wait, you don't see chrome on my car?
Not from my angle.
Oh, well, it is chromed out. And maybe it's just I don't know, but it is chromed out.
I see it on the left. There we go. Yeah.
There it is.
There it is.
Well, I would like to shout out all our sponsors. Of course, VSPEED for all the broadcasts, Clark Print Shop, Juicy Spider Studios, M&J Distributors with Joshua Banks. We got Rock and Rollin' Costumes, and then FireStorm Racing. We really can't do this league without them. They help out a ton. You guys put on a great broadcast, and we can't do this league without all the great drivers and personnel as well. All the admins, Jeff, Reggie, and Brian. We have a lot of work ahead of us for this race and the races to come because we have a new system we're implementing for incidents. So it's taken a little bit to get them going, but I want to thank everybody for that. Just everybody is grateful, and all is well.
Well, you probably have the tally marks notched somewhere on a calendar or maybe a bedpost somewhere, but I want to say it's your 5th win here at Saturday Night Racing League. If that's accurate, Chad, you can correct me if I'm wrong.
It is 1 each season, so it is 5.
All right.
Yeah, 1 each season so far.
All right. Congratulations on the 5th win and getting this here earlier in the season. That makes it even sweeter. We will see you next week. I believe we're going to Kentucky.
Oh boy, it's going to be a good one.
All righty. Until then, see you next time, buddy.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
Chad Klinger, race winner, and we can dispute it. No, we can't. This is going to be official. I have a feeling here, Connor. This one's got to stick. Everybody agreed to the terms. They signed that TOS. They didn't read it as fast as they could. We raced it out. That goes to Chad.
I mean, I think it's, regardless of what anyone thinks, it was going to be tough to beat him, even with the tires. I mean, clean air was so important. I mean, more important than ever in this car. And having that on the restart before it got him away with the lead. James Lehman almost had him there, but still couldn't make that pass complete. If he got 3 attempts, maybe, but 09 had the lead when it mattered, ultimately.
Well, I'm trying to, get official word here, but I want to say that our next driver that we need to talk to is Hunter Sr., and I think he's going to be our second place driver. I know that I'm gonna fix it right now. Okay, there it is. Hunter, we saw you coming off of turn 3. I will assume at the line that you were further ahead than the 26, your teammate. It looked like it at the line.
I'm actually I'm just as confused as you guys are right now. I was just in the chat with Chad. I think Donald actually got second because there was a wreck going in the tunnel turn, and I think that I got third. So if you want to move me out and pick up Donald, and just...
Hold up here, because we don't have an official word that even ended the race. We don't know that actually ended the race, so I don't know. I want to say that the race went green because it wasn't green. Does that make sense? Either way, we're pulling you up here. We're pulling you up here. We're committed. We're just gonna go with it. We've had a lot of things that are strange here on VSPEED tonight. So Hunter, whether you're second or you're third, you're still a podium driver, and we'll settle that all out in due time for next week. But here you are, top 3. Congratulations in the Cup Series.
Thank you. Who would have thought?
I mean, based off lap 1, not me.
Oh yeah, no.
A lot of things happened there in turn 3, and I believe everybody that had a JS logo or High Side podcast in that top 10 was involved.
Yeah, that was just one of those chain reaction things. I tried to check up for Donald, and just not a lot of time to be able to get slowed down to not run in the back of him.
Well, then let's go through the rest of that race building up to this point. You had to recover from all of those situations. Then we go to green flag pit stops. Half the field, I would say, has hit pit road. You're one of those cars that did. Then we have another late caution. Things flip and flop. You adapt and overcome.
That little green flag run, we're working with, all of us at Juicy Spider are all working together with that stuff, and they, the fuel, Donald's over there saving, and I thought in my head, they're surely, after the race that we had all night, there's no way these guys can go another 10 laps without having a single caution. So I was banking on them having another caution, but trying to save at the same time, and came out, and got in third, and then kind of messed that pit stop up. And I don't know if it's on the stream, but I was all the way back in 18th with 10 to go and was able to get back up to the third place. So just banked on a lot of misfortunes for a lot of people. I mean, it's kind of going to happen after the things you kind of seen tonight. So it was crazy. I'm happy to be able to pull away and finish on the podium. I don't know if it's second or third yet, but I'm happy with either one.
I have it officially now. I have it officially now that Chad the Dolphin has stated that you were third. Apparently we raced to that incident and threw that flag at that point. So I'm sorry to be that bearer of news officially, but again, it's still a podium finish, and you racing over at the Challenger Series. I've talked with you a lot over, I think you have a very brief experience here on iRacing as well.
Oh, just enough. I mean, compared to a lot of these guys, there's a great group of guys that I'm learning a lot from. Like, I'm starting out to be able to race with Bailey Turner up there, and then I got Chad Klinger, Joshua Banks, and then not only that, but the guys in Juicy Spider like Donald and Josh Adams and Nick, Jared, everybody that I don't have a chance to be able to compete with. And over this past couple of months, I've been working with these guys, and it's been getting a lot better. And the misfortune of this season were not really a lot of good luck. I wish I could come in here and talk to you guys a lot more, but just tonight to be able to pull it off and be able to get up here is better than nothing. So I'm excited. I'm happy and looking forward to go to next week, honestly.
One last thing before we let you go. I know a lot of people are behind you here in the Juicy Spider Studios. Hunter Sr., who made it happen for you tonight?
So last time we talked, I didn't have my notepad. I got my notepad tonight, just to let you know. So we'll start off with Juicy Spider. Everybody over there, Mike, Josh, Nick, Jared, Donald, those guys make it happen. We also had Jacob tonight working with Josh, and he was a lot of help, earlier in the race. Every single one of those guys, I can't say thank you enough to those guys. They are the reason that I'm talking to you and the reason I'm in this league. They're the reason I'm still doing this. Like I said before, they're a great group of guys, and I love working with them. Not only that, we got Cosman. He works with our paints, and he's put together some great paint schemes. Hopefully on the stream, you guys are easily able to recognize our cars. Those guys, NJB Designs, another great painter that I've been getting paints done by. Every single person is just amazing to work with, and could be more thankful that I got a great group of guys I'm working with.
We appreciate you coming up here, even if it was a little bit too soon, and we will look forward to seeing you next week.
Yes, sir. You guys have a good night.
That is your third place finisher, Hunter Sr. We pulled him up here as your second place, but it's going to work out. We're going to get this all sorted. And finally, we have Donnie Kite in the number 29 or 26 rather. He will be second place, and I can just click the button once. I don't have to fix anything. Donald, you come into this race turn 3 lap 1 sideways. I think everybody with a JS logo gets some damage or gets sideways from that. Did you expect this race to flip-flop the way it did?
No. I damn sure didn't expect the guy who punted me in turn 3 on lap 1 to finish third place behind me at the end of the race either.
Yeah, there was a check up there. He was trying to sell it as best he could, but I think he stayed on the throttle.
I think he did too. I got hit pretty good.
Well, let's go through, 2.5 miles, Tricky Triangle, midway through the season. We've shouted your name out a little bit so far in the Gen 4, but not as much as we did in the next gen. Do you think maybe this is where the season turns around for you?
I'd sure like to think so. I know the first handful of races, I don't even know how many races we've done by now, but I think we spent at least 90% of them in the fence, in the garage, backwards, through the grass, any problem that you could think of. It seems like the 26 had, found it. And I don't know if it had something to do with the update, or maybe I just needed a week off because I was sick last week. But yeah, it's nice to, actually come out without, even though I did wreck on lap 1, but, I was able to at least recover from it today and, utilize at least my whatever I learned in practice to try to make up some of the ground. And, obviously got a few good breaks there too. But I think either way, with the way we were playing our strategy, we were looking for at least the top 8 there. So, I mean, it worked out pretty good either way.
Well, then finally, I got to throw out, you guys raced this with 3 different sessions. You had a delay on the start. You had kind of a weird situation there on the green-white checkers. What is your takeaway from all of this? Does it take something extreme or crazy, maybe out of the ordinary, to maybe set things straight?
You know what? Technical issues happen. I run a league too, and I make mistakes every now and then. It's just part of it. And these guys run, arguably a pretty large league here. So, not everything is going to be artificial. There's going to be human errors here and there. But one thing we can say is, regardless of whatever's happening behind the scenes, it wasn't putting down Juicy Spider Racing. I know that much.
Congratulations on a podium finish. Anybody you want to shout out real quick before we let you go?
Yeah, Bradley, really just everyone at Juicy Spider. We didn't hit the ground running this season. Come off of a good season last year with the Gen 7 car, and whether it was the change of car or the change of aero, whatever it is, we really just didn't hit it. But we stuck together. We dug our feet in, and we were just trying to come up with different ways we can just better ourselves as a team. And I think we've I mean, it wasn't a fluke. You know, we got most of our cars were running up in the top 10 today, and probably all of them, I think, at some point. And we had 2 of them finish on the podium. These guys have been working really hard, and we're able to actually, you know, go home on the weekend, Saturday evening, and go celebrate something for a change. Shout out to everyone over there, Mike, Nick, and everyone who's putting everything together for the drivers, me, Hunter, Josh, and Jared, and even other drivers across different divisions that Juicy Spider supports. And oh, by the way, these fly-ass paint schemes from Splash and Go Graphics from Cosman, they just look so damn good out here, man.
Couldn't agree more. They look good. You guys sound good and looking to build on this momentum. Appreciate you coming up here into the booth. We'll see you next week.
Thank you, Bradley. Thank you, Connor. And I hope you enjoyed the show tonight.
Donnie Kite, second place. And Connor, that brings us to the tail end of our coverage here tonight. Pocono was interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, definitely an interesting one for sure. I mean, saw some good racing. Clean Air definitely king with this new update, and we saw a lot of drivers take advantage of it. At the beginning, it was Lehman who led a bunch of laps. He had a bad pit stop. He never really competed after that. Farada, I thought he was going to get the victory. He looked pretty strong in Clean Air. Then the fuel mileage came into play. Had some drivers pit, some didn't. 24, 73, maybe they make it. The yellow ends up coming out. One of those drivers. You had all those drivers who ended up pitting under green, cycle to the front, mainly the 09. He ends up getting the victory, his first of the season, and definitely odd fashion, to say the least, but either way, the 09's a winner.
We have more racing to continue here for the Saturday Night Racing League in the Cup Series. It's on to Kansas Speedway. I said Kentucky, I meant Kansas. I think Kentucky is the Challenger Series. Let's make sure we got that. It's Kansas and Dover. I think I said Kentucky for somebody, but either way, it's a 1.5 mile racetrack for the Cup Series, or for the Challenger Series, and a 1 mile concrete oval. I think Adam Cabot's going to be there.
I would certainly hope so.
You can tune in there at 7:45 p.m. Eastern Time, October 4th. That's a week from today for the Challenger Series and the Cup Series at 10 p.m. Eastern Time here on VSPEED. You can hit that subscribe button and you'll never miss a single race. We have flag-to-flag coverage all season long. For my co-commentary, Connor Horn, our cameras provided by Dougie Beard, Adam Baker, one of our co-owners here at VSPEED. Our other co-owners, Eddie Smith and Morgan Cook. Other producers, Logan Threlkeld, Lucas Lyons, and Alex Gagnon. This is Bradley Cooper saying so long from the Tricky Triangle. We'll see you tomorrow night for the Misfit Racing League. Stay tracking, everybody.